Support Laneside. Get something cool.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for the wait. As always, this is the Drill Room, the show for bowlers, where we try to get a little bit more intimate, a little bit more interactive with you. Answer your questions, check out the things that we've seen you talking about online, talk about news, reviews, and all sorts of good stuff.
As always,
I am the Bearded Beast.
And I'm going to be answering your questions, taking you through this whole thing. We've got a ton of fun stuff planned for tonight. Really appreciate you sticking by. YouTube was having a live issue where it was not connecting. So, but we got it figured out now, thankfully. And we're going to get to it here in just 1 second. I got to adjust our little chat.
Two mics picking up.
See what I'm talking about? There's all sorts of fun stuff going on tonight. Alright, let's see who's in there. We got Garrett, we got Nick, we got Billy. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for letting me know about the mic. Sorry about that. Like I said, we're having some YouTube issues, all over the place. We had to reconfigure some stuff, and they were having problems getting their lives to load. So, but we're all good now. Since you found us here on YouTube, thank you for joining us. If you're looking for us on our other social media platforms, don't forget you can find us on, of course, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, all over the place. Just look at it for us by typing in hashtag TEAMLSR or Laneside Reviews, or you can just go to lanesidereviews.com and that'll take you straight to our Facebook. You can get to just about any of our things from there. Fun times indeed. So we've got tons of stuff to cover tonight. As it showed in the opening Chiron, we're going to talk about Matt Russo and his amazing event down in Jonesboro. We're also going to take a look at the PWBA because we've had two events that we haven't really had a chance to talk about. We're going to go to the bench and check out the new balls. We finally got them in, so you're going to take a look at the layouts. We've already shot the videos. They're going to be coming out starting on Thursday, but we wanted to give you a sneak peek of what we did with the equipment. We've got something interesting in a trick layout, the 3x0 layout. We've seen that talked about a lot on Facebook. Seen a lot of people talking about it for certain conditions. So we drilled one up and we all gave it a test so that we could take a look to see if there's anything to this 3x0 layout. Plus, not one but two Pro Shop horror stories. We go back and fix a grievous misdeed that I did last week because I'm not very smart. And no, I'm just kidding. We made a mistake with the Neo-tac review that we did, and it comes down to material. So I redid it, and we're going to show you the results, and we're going to talk about some apparel. But to do so, we're going to have to jump in. I was catching D-Tang's new league vid, and it didn't tell me you were live, but here I am now. Thank you, Vincent. Yeah, we were having some issues. We just, for some reason, it just was not doing things right. It was really weird. But glad you're here now. Oh, yeah, and a little bit later, we're going to give away a jersey. So, yeah. All that stuff and more. Your questions and everything. Let's get to it. First thing we're going to start with, we're going to go over to the internet. And, how about now? They should probably be able to hear me now.
Nick, is there sound? Okie dokie. Vincent can hear? Okay. It's so weird. We had to, honestly, I had to rejigger a whole bunch of things. Tonight, before we got started, it was honestly a mad dash. It's always a mad dash, though. That's what makes it so much fun. Anyway, let me go back. As I, because I was playing with, I'm playing with Kyle Troop again. No, this weekend was the Super Southwest Open in Jonesboro. Matt Russo, dude loves that place. Last year, this time, he walked in, wrecked everybody, walked away with the title, and, well, guess what? He did it again. Not only did he win or lead this one wire to wire, he won this tournament very convincingly. Just to take a look at the standings here, like when you look at third place averaged to, look at Sean Maldonado, 227. Mikkel there was 225. Spencer, who finished in second, was 235. And even he got lapped by Matt with 244. I think at one point he was averaging almost 250 for his blocks. Like, he ran away with it. Now, once again, left-hander, urethane, two-hander, somewhere somebody's screaming into an iceberg. Honestly, it's great to see Matt win. I personally still think he should have a national title, but it's great to see him win again. Matt is such a nice guy. And you saw in the Chiron at the beginning, he literally wore the same outfit from one win to the other. So it just looks like they took two different pictures, but it's literally 2 years apart. So yeah, he just wheeled the whole tournament. Even other left-handers didn't have the same look that he did. He just had the magic going all weekend. From there, of course, he defeated EJ. I don't want to take anything away from EJ. It was his 30th birthday. EJ bowled really well, getting past Spencer. Unfortunately, fell to Matt in the finals. It's a $5,000 payday for your birthday, but you kind of really want that extra $5 in the title. But EJ bowled really well. Like, he was definitely, I think it almost looked like he had a harder time than everybody else. He was throwing that OG tank, and he was lofting it half the lane to keep it in line, to try to keep, any semblance of control of the pocket. And, Matt Russo, after he left that 6-8, just kind of swung right, and, he Shark Kenned it. He just let up on the speed and wheeled it and just destroyed him. And it's not fair to say to EJ, because EJ threw really well, but good heavens. From there, of course, we move on to the PWBA. And you can see right on the front there, Dasha wins her 5th career title. Dasha's actually said that she feels like this year was a bit of a downer. Because she didn't win 3 or 4 titles this year. I would love to have a down year like that. Congratulations to her regardless, because she's bowled decently, but she lit it up in this event. She gets something to drink at the end. I'm not a Pepsi as I slap this thing. I'm not a Pepsi person, but go Pepsi for supporting bowling, and go Dasha for winning. From there, that was last week. Tonight we've got Shannon Pluhalski, and what is this? We got Shannon, and is that Stephanie, and Maria's there, Stephanie's there, Shannon's there, and Jordan. I always forget Jordan's name. I keep wanting to call keep wanting to call her Richard, and it's Jordan Richard. It's like my poor friend Colin. I still feel really bad for that. I just put people's names together. I'm so bad with names. So bad. And I apologize if I butcher your name. Used to have a mind like a steel trap, and now it's just rusted shut. So, but, you know, we'll get there. But this is a big one. This is the Tour Championship. So we've got Player of the Year, Shannon here, Shannon O'Keefe. Earlier in the day, I guess over the last couple of days, they've been giving away all the awards for the PWBA. We had our Rookie of the Year go, or the Rookie of the Year go. I'm taking possession of everything. This is terrible. I don't know why I'm doing this. We had the Rookie of the Year given out. Shannon today got Player of the Year, and she's still bowling tonight. She can take home more. Shannon Puholski is, I mean, the perennial. She just wins and wins and wins. This is a who's who. I mean, if you could stick Liz in there and maybe CDB, it's a Hall of Fame ceremony, and that's nothing against Jordan or Maria. Like, good heavens, that's like having 2 or 3 PDW. I blanked his name out of my brain because I've been traumatized so much with a wiffle bat. It's been beaten out of me. But seriously, like, you look at how many events the Shannons have won. You look at how many events Stephanie has won and how well she's bowled. You look at how well Maria has bowled. You look at how well Jordan has bowled. It's a really good step ladder. Very, very good. I'm impressed with it. I wish I could be watching it. It's on right now. Don't go away, please. Don't go away. It's on right now, and hopefully, if I can get some kind of updates during this, I'm going to try to give you some updates. The only problem is here in Canada, we don't have CBS Sports. So, it's really tough for us to get this kind of stuff and watch it. I'd love to do a watch-along with these. So let's see if we can find one from the PWBA site while I'm here. We'll check out how people are doing in Big Easy. Charlie Daniels Band, yes. Gotta go lefty all the way. Let's see here. I don't see anything yet. I mean, it's only 27 minutes in, too, so. PWBA bowling. Should have had this loaded up on my phone already. Stephanie defeats Maria Jose Rodriguez 234-224 in the semifinal. Oh, they started at 7, didn't they? Stephanie went through Jordan as well, and Jordan knocked off Shannon 220-196. Wow, updates are flying. So in match 1, Jordan knocked off Shannon. Way to go, Jordan. As I said, great bowler. And then Stephanie has gone on a run. 266-190, knocking off Jordan, and then 234-224 over Maria Jose Rodriguez, and now she's going up against Shannon Pluhowski in a championship match. Maybe we'll get a finish before this is over. That's awesome. Until we have more, let's check out some more stuff. So, I'm gonna mark this off on my list. Boop. One of the things I've seen lately online, I think AJ Chapman was the first person to post a lot about it on Facebook. We saw it a little bit on tour. We started hearing about this 3x0 layout, which is a symmetrical layout, 3 inches pinned to your PAP, and then the pin right on your valve line. Excuse me, Sarah. There is a ball on the far right side in here. If you could grab it for me. No. On the workbench. It's blue and red. It has 3x0 marked on it. As you can literally see, it was a we were running around. I was running around trying to get stuff ready before.
Which one?
Far right hand side says 3x0 on it.
It does.
Shout out to Vincent. Well, I got a second here. He was on the stream and he used that little stopover in the stream to shoot awesome pre-bowl last week. So good on you, Vincent. So here you can see this is actually the ball that we tested out here. This is a Verge. This is the original Verge solid, and you can see that pin is right on my valve line. Now, that's supposed to control your layout. It's supposed to control your roll down lane. It's supposed to, when they're really, really difficult, you're supposed to be able to go to this, and it's supposed to either control the lane or make it easier to play or something. But there hasn't been a lot of talk about it. It's just pictures and then a video of people throwing it like, oh, hey, this is kind of cool motion. But that doesn't really tell us anything. How are we supposed to know if we need it or we don't need it? If we don't, figure out what it does. So we took it to the lanes this week while we were testing out the new equipment, which we'll get to a little bit, and we had everybody throw a few shots with it. You can see Wayne Porter, our speed dominant player here, and right away you can see that this ball, when it gets down lane, has a very quick read, but seems to kind of lay off. Even though Wayne's not hitting the pocket here, you can see how quickly it's seeing it and then coming off the spot. I think you'll see it a little bit more here with Nick. For Nick, it read early, and then once again, it just kind of died out. Once it made its move, it just kind of died. So you see he's trying to play it a little bit straight. Seems to hit pretty well for him. It's very interesting, but both players have played it really straight so far. Maybe we can get Nick to throw it maybe with a little bit of room to the side here. Got a little bit deeper. A little flat. This is one of the things I was worried about with this kind of layout. Now when you put your pin on the valve, see, it's going to go a little bit farther out on this one. When you put your pin on the valve, basically what it's doing is it's reading as quickly as it possibly can. It's trying to spin up. It's trying to make its motion as quickly as possible. A 3-inch pin to pap is also a very strong flaring, pin to a very strong flaring distance. You can see here I am with it. So basically what it's doing is it's flaring and it's using up as much energy as it possibly can at that midpoint where it's reading, and it's just kind of rolling out. You can see that with me throwing it here. It's reading, and then it almost looks like it's dying out. You can see my, right there, that is the bottom of the bow tie of my flare track. Usually that's on the top and the bottom of the ball, and your fingers are in the middle, and it has actually moved quite a distance up. So it's very drastically changed the way that the ball is working. Now we're seeing some strikes though. And once again, just showing you very, very high flare. It's flaring literally right around my thumb. Like the flare lines are coming in around my thumb. Ooh, that was interesting. So what are we seeing from this? Is this a layout that everybody needs? I'm gonna say probably not. I think the first person I saw throw this was AJ Chapman, and I saw a few people kind of follow up after this, but it's been around for a while. When I say I saw it, the first person I saw was AJ, the first person on Facebook recently, and he was doing it with a GB4 solid. And what he was doing is he was taking it to really get the ball to see the lane and roll, almost like a urethane. It controlled the down lane hook without missing the mid lane and also without rolling at his feet. It could still get it down lane a little bit, get it to corner but not overread, which is something you can't do with most urethane. And outside the purple, there's not many urethane you can actually hook. So while it looked okay for myself, I was always really worried when it got to the break point. It always felt like it labored so much that, I don't know, maybe if there had been more friction, it would have had a little bit more, well, no, because it would have been even smoother. Yeah, I don't know. I know you can see with Nick, he threw some in the pocket, and if he was able to catch it, they'll strike. But anything inside really didn't carry, and that's indicative of it. I mean, look how early and how quickly that read. That's indicative of it really running out of energy. Ugh, that is so gross. That is such a gross hit. So this is a little bit different, Garrett, than a short pin layout. A short pin in urethane is a little bit closer, a short pin in symmetrical is a little closer to urethane where it reads really quickly and then rolls forward. This seems to have more distance, a little more shape, but really seems to die down lane. Where the short pin has a little bit more energy when it gets down lane. If you look at short pins in an asymmetrical, they actually get stronger down lane. Because what does it allows it to retain tilt, which helps it retain energy before it starts to fully roll forward. So it's going to give it a little bit more pop. So that's why with Wayne here, once again, you can see our speed dominant player, he could move in a little bit, but because it dies at the break point, the farther in he moves, the more likely it is to just roll out and miss it completely. Like, he could still move another 5 boards, and it just would be way too over-under for him. Nick, it would be a little bit more, like he just said there, I want to see, in the chat, I want to try it on the burn and the heavy short. I think that's where it would probably shine a little bit more, especially on the short pattern. Being as it rolls forward a little bit more, those short oil patterns would probably look a lot better in. See, that had a little bit right to left action rather than hooking it in or playing it straight on. In his defense, the urethane revolution to control the pocket. It could be. I think it's just a different shape. If you look at this compared to a urethane shape, it's a much, much different shape. Where urethane reads so early and it's just so slow. This still has some motion at the break point. It has quite a quick break point. It just rolls forward a lot faster. It's almost like not quite asymmetrical, if that makes sense. It has an asymmetrical break point and then just kind of pukes down lane, just goes bleh. So we thought that was interesting. Seen it. Now I tried it the day after this. This is at 2000 grit. I went back to the center and tried it with polish on it to see what happened, and I did not recommend that whatsoever. That valve angle, because it's so fast, because it wants to be very jerky, it becomes very over-under. So when you get those clipped shots, it just, with polish on it, it looked terrible. Way more motion at the break point, like ridiculous motion, but once again, it still just rolled forward. So for your speed dominant players, I like Nick's idea. For the matched and the rev dominant players, I think that he has the right idea. It might be better for the short patterns. For the speed dominant players, I don't know if this has a place in their bag, but better we drill one and make sure it doesn't look good in somebody's bag than you spend the money and have it look awful, right? Speaking of looking awful, it's time for Pro Shop Horror Stories. Segue. I really need some music or something. This week I got two, not one but two Pro Shop horror stories. One of my own and one from my shop that I found, and one from online. The one online comes from Turbo, from Mike M. Mike, we did some stuff at Bowl Expo, which we're going to share a little bit later on the T45 urethane and how to make custom thumbs. Really cool stuff. But he found this one and he shared it, and it was just too good. Oh god, it was too good not to share. So this is a Storm Phase 1, which someone has originally had switch gripped. You can see in the nice black dark line there. Now, I'm not a fan of filling in, you know, if it's a colorful ball, just filling in one color. I try to match the color a little bit. I don't blame any pro shop that doesn't do it, though, especially a pro shop guy who does it for himself. Because, you know, there's always people filling with stuff. But then they switch gripped it again. They switch gripped it and then they filled the switch grip. So this is in fact a plastic switch grip outer that has been filled with resin. And someone has done a very, very good job matching the color here. The color's great. But the plastic thing's still in. So yeah, that's horrific. If you ever have something like this happen to you, please make sure you take a photo of it and send it to us here at lanesidereviews@live.com and make it attention Pro Shop horror story, because good lord, that makes my heart hurt so bad. Now that probably would affect your roll. I'm gonna say maybe a little bit affect your roll. The next one here, I think might fall under surface alteration. I'm not sure. This is one that I had come in recently that I was re-drilling, and I pulled the fingers out and I was like, what is stuck in the bottom? And I started picking at it, and I had to get a knife and then a screwdriver to tap it because it was all caked. And it turns out it's powder from when it was drilled. Whether somebody was in a hurry or didn't notice or didn't... I mean, there's not exactly bevel on those holes, so I'm guessing somebody didn't bevel it. But that was caked in the bottom of the inserts. Now, these inserts that were used in it were turbo inserts that were open from the bottom. So when this thing actually, when I rolled it across the carpet in my shop, it dropped dust behind it. So it was literally creating its own topography. It's creating its own surface adjustment during bowling. So you just gotta, you know, it's a little oily. Let me just roll this one a few times through the heads, and we should get a little bit more friction. That's it. Actually took me a couple of minutes to get it all out. It was powdery when it came out, but it was stuck to the inside of the hole. It was very odd. It was loose and yet solid at the same time. Very, very unusual, but definitely something that should have been seen when installing fingers. Definitely something that should have been seen when cleaning the ball, putting it away. I have no idea how the person bowled with this and it was still in there. It's crazy to me to see something like that. But then again, that's why they are pro shop horror stories, because they're things that you should never see in the pro shop. Now, I'm going to take a second here, and I am going to right a wrong that happened last week. And I think the best way to describe it is to let the idiot who did it take full responsibility. Okay guys, welcome to the Workbench, and you can see that we are at the spinner again. Now, on the last episode, episode 23, we were looking at
the Hoot-it Pro Surface 2000. And we took ourselves a pad and we flipped it over and we put the stuff on and we used it, and well, the surface didn't look so great. It came out at kind of like a 2000 polishy, kind of, not really. And we were like, must have done something wrong. It's one of the things I said, you know, I must have done something wrong here. I'm doing, because this doesn't look quite right. Well, we figured it out. So we're going to do this take 2. Now we have here a nice danger zone. You can see it's got quite the shine to it right now. Look at that shine. That's beautiful. And well, what we learned in talking to some pad manufacturers and to the guys at Neo-tac is that not all pad backs are made the same. This one, you can see it's a multi-layer designed to wick away liquid from your hand to release it, which means when you try to put a liquid surfacer on it, it takes it away from the actual surface of the ball. So we're going to try this again, and to do that we got ourselves a 2000 pad just to see our air pad, and we're going to use it on this shiny ball to show how much surfaces. Yeah, look at that. That's a dead pad. That's definitely not a 2000 surface. We see a little bit of the shine come off, but mostly, let me get in there, see if I can get in real close. You can see that there's some really fine lines through here, but that's not really surface. That's, you know, that's cracking the polish. So now this time we're going to use the bottom side, same side we just used on here. You can see it's not getting rid of, oh, I guess you gotta, it's not getting rid of that shine. That shiny is still there. And we're gonna do it the way they said. So we're gonna take that old pad, open it up, give it a good shake. We're just gonna put some in the pad here. Put that down there out of the way. So you can see we just have some in the pad here, and I'm just gonna, so it's spread out. We're not gonna do anything special with it. You hear that? You can already hear that grit. Different from when we did it last time. At 7 spins. 7 spins should not be enough to do surface, but that's what we gave the last one, right? So if there's going to be any difference, we probably see it right away. Let's find out. Well, looky. Look at that. That looks better. Let's even give it a little bit more time here. Where did I throw that pad to? Oh, darn it, where'd I do? I done lost it. Did I throw it down the back? Nope, there it is right there. Right there, I'm not going to add anything more to it. Let's just keep going. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's a total of 17 turns. Look at that surface. There's that tackiness. Much better surface on it. Now, we talked about this before, about making sure that we're putting apples to apples. So let's grab us a 2000 True Cut pad. Let's just take a quick look. I hate doing pads dry, you get all that junk on it, but you see it pretty quickly. This is going to be worst case scenario. And we're seeing the same thing. Huh. So we're seeing a Well, we can't say it's exactly the same because we know that these are calibrated to 2000. If you do a surface scan with these go to 2000. What we are seeing, though, is when we spun it, we're seeing the same kind of finish. Let's get in here and let's take a look like we did the last one. You can see nice surface. Oh yeah, you can see it right there. It's definitely gone deeper, and you can see it's much deeper grooves. Alright, there we go. So, Hoot-it Surface Pro 2000 gets a thumbs up. Okay. And we are back. Man, I gotta show. So yes, as you can see last week, I screwed up. And glad we could fix it this week. So for those of you who are looking for a liquid scuff and belt mark remover that also fixes the surface of your bolt between 15 and 2000, and also retactifies it, I would say that you are looking at the Hoot-it Surface Pro 2000. I think it showed what it can do in the video there. Now, before we move on to what we've got on the bench and then answering all your questions, and of course giving away a jersey, good heavens, we got a whole bunch of stuff to do. I wanted to take a second and just, I wanted to show you guys something. Give me 1 second. Oh, where'd I put them down? Oh, they're over here. Okay. So I've been talking about these for the last couple episodes, and I want to show them to you. These are my house hack pants. My super light, ultra light pants. Whoa, what happened to me? I stopped moving. I stopped it moving. What happened? Uh-oh. Don't know what happened with there. That was weird. Anyway, these are super ultralight, and you can see they've got a ton of flex to them here. Really love these. We actually have, I think, Colin said he was going to send us some more, or some shorts or something. He was going to send us some more stuff, which I'm really excited about. But I have talked a while about how light they are. So, today I pulled out my handy-dandy luggage scale, which is probably one of the most important... What?
I said that's where it was.
What?
I was looking for that.
I pulled out my handy-dandy luggage scale, which is one of the most important tools, obviously, that I have. And I wanted to find out just how light they are, because I make jokes about how light they are. They're lighter than, my socks, they're lighter than my underwear. I wanted to find out exactly how light they were. So, I went and grabbed an average pair Old Navy jeans. Just a standard pair of Old Navy jeans. And we weighed them up. And then we took the lightest pants I've ever worn, my house hacks, and we weighed them up. Wouldn't you know who won the pony? Jeans weighed 2.2 pounds, give or take a couple of ounces. Where my house hack apparel pants, my awesome black pants, just 0.9 pounds. So literally half the weight of my regular pants. That's... The scale thing's right there. Can you pass it to me for a second? It's over... I'm being very bossy on the stream tonight. I've borrowed Hotchkiss from Jim Cornette. And thank you. I promise to return him with at least 8 of his 11 fingers. But I got my shoe here. I'm just curious how much my shoe weighs. Because I'm a weirdo. Okay. My shoe weighs 1.1 pounds. My shoe weighs more than that pair of pants.
Yeah, they are very well made.
They are. They're incredibly well made. That's what's mind-blowing. They're super well made. They've got so much stress to them. They're so comfortable. They don't weigh anything. They kept me so cool, especially when we had youth in last weekend. We had tournaments in all the time. We got leagues all the time, and it has been hot. And they have kept me completely comfortable through bowling, through coaching, through everything. It's been incredible. I can't say enough good things about them. Check them out. We've put them in all of our new videos. Please check out the link for them because they're awesome and they support the show. So support them. We support you. Now that I've taken my shoe off and I'm going to trip all over things, let's head to the... Let's see if it works here. Let's head to the workbench. Literally gonna trip myself. So terrible at this. All right. So you can see we've got 4 balls on on the workbench this week. We just did videos with these, and like I said, these are going to be coming out starting on probably Thursday night. We just want to share the layouts and how we came to these different numbers and what we were expecting out of them, and what you should expect out of the videos. So if you've seen our Arsenal construction chart before, we kind of have some ideas, some basic places to start with. Now when we use that, that's designed for an unknown pattern. And of course we're going to modify what we put in that bag once we know what the pattern is, the pattern length is, things like that. It's a general starting point that we can then build off of depending on where we are. Well, here we have 4 contenders to be added to Rob's bag. These were drilled for me, so you'll see these on the show there. The first one we have is the new Hellcat from Deviate. Now normally with a big solid like this, even though it's not a solid, a big solid looking ball, I want to be clear on that, big solid looking ball, we would expect some smaller drill angles to get it to start up earlier, maybe pin down so that we'd be a little more controllable. Having watched people throw this, especially Matt Ogle, this ball has some motion in the cover stock. It has some, even though it has some bite early, it's got some motion down lane. So I went with, we took our ball up layout, our 50 by 5 by 35, and we just modified it a little bit for me being lower tilt and a little bit rev dominant. So we went with a longer drill angle. We brought the pin to pack down just a tiny bit to get the flare just a little bit earlier. But we still went with a long valve angle, that 45 degree kind of in the middle, so it's not going to be too fast, not going to be too slow. It hooks a lot. That cover stock it's cleaner than the Hellraiser Blaze, but it definitely has probably the same amount of hook. It hooks a lot. And you're going to see that with each of our bowlers, there's a lot of early motion and without seeing it roll forward. I think that's the best way to put it, without seeing it run out of steam. Next up, we got a couple of hybrids, starting with the Quantum Evo. We know that these cores and these covers are pretty special. We saw it with the Solid, we saw it with the Pearl. I mean, look what Matt Ogle did, look what everybody did with the Quantum Evo Pearl over the last 6 months. So we decided we wanted to make this a little bit playable. We went with the Rev Dominant ball up. So this is 80 by 5.75 by 40. But wait, you say, that doesn't say 5.75. That says 3 point, well, if you can see it. It says 3.75. Once you get to a certain pin length for low tilt bowlers, you got to start doing some funky things. One of the easiest ways I can explain to people, when you have very, very low tilt, if you see a number that you're supposed to drill with a 5 in it, you just -2, and that's pretty much where it's going to be. So a 5-inch pin's a 3-inch pin, 5.5-inch pin's a 3.5-inch pin, a 4-inch pin might end up being a 2-inch pin to get the same kind of motion without it blowing out all its energy. It's all about retaining energy to the right place and then using it at the right time. We talk about things, clean, lots of energy down lane, doesn't blow up, things like that. We're talking about where it uses its energy. We want it to have some energy at the break point, but we still need it to bleed off energy to get to the pocket. Ball can't strike if it don't slow down. Now this has quite a surface on it. You can tell it doesn't look shiny. It is quite a chalky surface. So when we got the Paragon and saw that it had quite a shiny surface on it, we decided that we didn't want to stray too far from what we did here. We wanted to be able to kind of see how they looked against each other. This, of course, has the QR11 hybrid cover stock. We saw the QR9 cover stock in the Stealth, and that just about blew our minds for how much it hooked. And the QR11 did not disappoint. Where I found the Quantum Evo was something that had a wider, just a wider range of things I could do with it, a much wider variation. The Paragon might be the most angular hybrid I've ever thrown. It might be one of the most angular balls I've ever thrown. That QR11 hybrid is silly. And when we saw the Paragon solid, we knew it was a strong cover stock, but the QR11 hybrid is just silly. So we went with 70 by 3 3/4 by 40, just a touch faster at the valve, just a little bit shorter at the drill angle because we saw a lot more shine on it, so we wanted to have about the same distance. Shape-wise, huge difference. Monstrous difference. I can hardly wait to show you guys. Last but not least, we've got the Melee Jab Carbon. Melee Jab Carbon, whatever you want to call it. I call it probably the best jab they've made. The first purple jab was okay. The red one, Nick adored. I mean, he loved that one. The blue one had a little bit more hook to it, but I never matched up with it. This one. I've used pretty much the same layout on almost all of them. In one matter or another, re-drilled, drilled new ones, drilled fresh ones, in reviews, out of reviews. I just have never been able to match up really well with a jab and feel like I had the control that everybody talked about. This one. You'll see when we compare it to the bonus, shape is similar to the bonus. We got a little bit more length out of it, definitely more angle of entry, but we didn't get too much overread. And the variation of shots we could play with it was huge. Just the complete versatility that we could create with this jab was different than any of the other jabs we've thrown. Like 10 out of 10. We put, personally, I put the red one at like a 7 out of 10. The original purple at like a 5 out of 10. This is a 10 out of 10. This is more than happy to throw this one. And you can see it's done 40 by 4.5 by 40. That is our late hook spot for our Rev Dominant player. And it's exactly what it gave us. It gave us something that was hooking a little bit, that we could hook a little bit later. It was controllable early, but not something we'd want to play when we want, say, an Obsession Tour or a Dark Web. But as the friction opened up, very easily move left, get around it, and we could shape it without worrying about it overreading the spot down lane. So like I said, these are going to be coming this Thursday, starting this Thursday night. Really excited with these. We've just seen some new releases announced from Swag, as well as I've heard rumblings that there might be new releases coming from other companies very soon. So it's going to be an awesome time for us to be going through this stuff and kind of showing you how we've made changes to the arsenal, the arsenals that we have based on how we've drilled things, how we've surface prepared. There's going to be a lot of equipment coming out and a lot of spaces that we're going to be able to fill in our bags. So it's very exciting. But we can't stay at the workbench forever. Eventually, we got to come back here and we got to answer some questions. All right. Here I am. Stay, boy. Stay. Stay. Time to answer some questions. This is where we go to Reddit, YouTube, our Facebook. We go to all over the place, and we try to answer the questions that you've sent us this week. Sometimes we may not get to all of them just because someone else has already asked them and we're answering it for them, or someone's asked it before. But don't forget to send in your questions to lanesidereviews@live.com. Or you can send them to us on Facebook or Twitch or any social media platform that you like. Oh, let's see what's going on in the chat here. Am I mistaken? The Hellcat is a solid. No. I think it is, but it really, honestly, it shapes like a hybrid. And when you look at it, the purple in it almost looks translucent. Now, of course, it probably is a solid. It is a solid reactive. Oh, yeah, that's that new Havoc solid. That's right. This is their brand new cover stock, the Havoc solid. That explains it. Okay, so you are... Ooh, where did I go? That was weird. Oh, I'm not looking at my screen. That's why. Sorry, yes. The Havoc Solid, it performs like a hybrid. It has that extra shape, which is their whole marketing thing on it. It's not as early as the Blaze. You can see I'm really scattered tonight. I apologize, guys. With the running around at the last minute, it just kind of thrown me off my game tonight. But that won't stop me. It never does. Let's continue on. Let's go to more questions. It was a real surprise. Yeah, it was, Nick. I agree. The Miele Carbon looks sweet. It's actually better than it even looks. Like, it looks amazing. When I saw another jab coming out, I was like, okay, cool. It's staying in the line. I know a lot of people like it, but I've never really had time for it. I am so impressed with this one. Like, I could almost see taking my kinetic black ice out of my late hook spot and slotting that in there. And I really like that ball. So that's saying something. That's saying something to me. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, Garrett, you're right. It is a solid. It's just cleaner. It's something to do with the additives that they did. It's much, much cleaner, and just seems to react more like a hybrid, but it is a solid. I've heard tell if you put some polish on it, that thing gets really silly the way that it'll turn the corner down lane if you have the friction for it. So that'd be kind of fun to play with. Another time, though. Another time. Let's see here. Let's go to comments. Is this video going to start? Jeff? Nope. That's a comment on this video, in fact. Nope, it's not going to start. Garrett, I can't remember where, but I believe I saw Striking Idea on YouTube with Marshall Kent last year. Yeah, I think it kind of was in the background with some stuff, but because of the supply chain issues, getting the proper cover stock material, and then this revolutionary core material that they're using, it really got delayed, like at least a year. So it is possible that you did see it last year. They still haven't really... I don't think they've even put anything up online about it yet. Just going to their website really quick. I'm going to check. Products, bowling balls. I don't even think it's up on the site. No, it's not up on the site yet. It's very unusual. I'm really excited about it still. I thought it was an interesting piece. Obviously, I didn't get to throw it, but watching everybody else, everyone seemed to really like the shapes. And for such a cover stock that didn't feel really porous, it had a lot of bite to it. Corbin, I'm slowly getting caught up. Great to see you guys back. Thank you for joining us again, Corbin. We'll talk more about you soon in a few next segments. Braveheart, happy that you're reviewing swag. Just purchased the Geek and the Dynamite and Lordfield Talent Maximum. You're going to do others from California? We're hoping. They just announced the Buzzer Beater and a couple of others. And I'm going to message Kent either tonight or tomorrow and see if we're getting to send them out. I'm kind of excited to review some more of their stuff. Get Riley out here. Get our cold-hearted, handsome devil out on the lanes, wooing everybody with his hair, and throwing some more strikes. Interested to see your review of the Joker, not the Joker's Wild. Oh. Want to mention, I did watch your old reviews before I purchased these. Oh, well, I appreciate that. Thank you. Somebody named Alex DNA. Are you high? You can't go life thinking everyone's a bad person. I'm cynical, but come on. Yeah, unfortunately, there are a lot of bad people out there, and there are actually people out there who actively work against the community, our bowling community. It's unfortunate, but just taking half a second to make sure that you're safe is always better than having to take the hours and hours to try to beg for forgiveness later. Especially when it comes to NCAA. NCAA doesn't put up with anything. If you mess with their stuff, they just, whatever, bye. They won't do nothing. Vivek, all the reviews are too good. How to tell apart? Well, look at your game. Look at also where you want to play the ball. You know, we try very much to say, you know, what the ball's going to be, if it's more of a traction cover stock, angular cover stock, when to play them, where to play them. We do our best to try to help, but it can be very difficult with all these reviews to know which ball is best for you. Best thing to do, shoot us a line. We'll give you a hand. That's what we're here for. Scotty Thompson, I really like your YouTube bowling channel. Thank you, Scotty. Your videos are very informative, and I enjoy watching them. Thank you very much, Jeff. Great to see you back. I've missed the show. All right. So, one of the nice things, I've seen quite a lot of comments on our last show, our social show. That's going to be important in a minute because, I don't know if you guys remember, but we said we were going to give some stuff away. Glad to see you back. Never miss a show. All right. Let's check out Reddit. Going over to Reddit. Going over to Reddit. I might be weird. Reddit is good. One of the things I've kind of liked being able to post things across to bowling. I don't know if some of you've seen it before, but r/bowling on Reddit. There's always some really cool stuff. People are always posting a lot of good stuff. Let me see if I can actually get it to load up on my other screen here so I can show it to you guys. If it'll load. Famous last words. Let's go over to the internet.
Maybe it's just this thing here. What I was saying is, we try to share all of our videos across here at r/bowling. It's kind of the community across the world where people post all sorts of different things, like bowling ball, photos of old vintage bowling balls, their scores, things they've done for help, things they've, all sorts of different things. It's a great community like we have here with Laneside Reviews, and we always post our videos both on our subreddit r/Laneside Reviews and on r/bowling. I think I'm going to give you guys a second, because in a minute we're going to take questions. But before that, last week I said we were going to give away a jersey. And well, while some people commented, and some people shared, and some people liked, there were only 5 people who commented, shared, liked, did all the things that I could find. So, one of these 5 people is going to win a jersey. Right now. Do we have any odds on who's going to win?
No. Refuse to make odds. It's not nice.
Okay. All right. Here we go. Wheel of Morality. Turn, turn, turn. Tell us the lesson that we should learn. Congratulations to Vincent, who has won himself an authentic, autographed Laneside Reviews jersey. We'll be getting that to him this week. We'll contact him, maybe we'll contact him by email to make him go through the steps to claim it. That could be amusing.
Yeah, so we're going to do this again next week. As I said, we have a whole bunch of jerseys. We're trying to support the community. We want to have a lot of fun. We want to grow this channel. And all you have to do, like this video, drop a comment below, and share it on Facebook. Make sure you tag Laneside Reviews on it so we can find it. That's it, 3 steps. Easy, you can do them all from YouTube. You can do them all from Facebook. Well, no, you got to do them all from YouTube, I think. But that's all you got to do. And then next week, we're going to give away another jersey. Simple as that. I don't care where you are. We don't care what you're doing. We're just going to give away some stuff.
Vincent can't win again next week.
That is true. Vincent can't win again next week. But we'd really hope he'd share and like stuff. We like Vincent. So let's go to some questions. We'd love to see more videos of Big Bowling. We would love to do some more Big Bowling videos as well, yes. Where you been? We'll meet your advice on bowling balls. Where you been? I'm here in Canada. I'm up here in Barrie, Ontario, Canada, which is about 45 minutes north of Toronto. And if anyone ever wants lessons or wants to come and get a ball drilled or wants to come by and just talk bowling, you are more than welcome to come see my shop. Here at 320 Bayfield Street, inside the Bayfield Mall, just, basically, just around the corner from the bowling center. Sorry? Call first. But yeah, you're all welcome. Are there any questions out there this week? We covered a ton of stuff. Let's see who won on the PWBA as well. PWBA. And Stephanie wins 252-181 in the championship match to take home the Players' Championship. The PWBA Tour Championship. Congratulations to Stephanie. Boy, she really, I mean, other than Jordan winning his first match, she ran the ladder. That's tough. So it doesn't look like... Oh, stupid echo. We're going to get that fixed out, I swear. I'm going to get that fixed out. But not this week. This week, we're coming to the end of the show. I want to remind everybody, next week we're going to give away another jersey. We're going to answer more questions. Next week, we're going to have our round table. All things going well, knock on wood. which means we'll have Scoops and Old Guy Wayne here live here in the studio. Each of us is going to get a camera so we can all laugh at each other and make funny faces. And we're just going to talk about bowling. We're going to talk about whatever comes up on chat. We're going to talk about whatever we feel like. We're going to talk nasty about people. Like I heard that Vincent guy. I heard he won a jersey. That Vincent guy. See, we're going to talk mean about people. We're going to do all sorts of stuff. We're going to talk about whatever you want. If you want to drop some questions, that also counts as a comment for this video. If you want to drop some questions for next week, we will answer them. As you can see, we get to them every week. If you have any questions about layouts, if there's a certain layout that you want to know more about, want to learn, why certain layouts look good for some bowlers and some don't, give us a shout. We want to answer your questions. You can send them to lanesidereviews@live.com, or you can send them to our Facebook. Go figure, you can go to lanesidereviews.com and go straight to our Facebook. You can look us up on, well, YouTube, you're already here, but social media on Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, Tweedledum, Totally, and all the other places, just by looking up hashtag TEAMLSR or Laneside Reviews. Boy, I think that's about it this week. Fast show. Time flies. I know, time really flies. And I do apologize, as I said at the beginning of the show there, we're having some weird things with YouTube software, and may have to explore. I just redid all these, but might have to explore something that's a little more stable. But oh, you dropped a question. Hold on. Vincent asked one earlier, too, and I missed it. Yep. You're not the only guy struggling with names. Remember Faces guy? Yep. Am I mistaken? No, I answered that one. How would you compare the okay. How would the Hellcat look compared to the Command Solid? Good question. The Command Solid is not quite as strong a core. Definitely that cover stock is a lot smoother. It doesn't have as much bite down lane. Hook-wise, the Command Solid is probably maybe 2 to 3 boards less total hook. But the shape is also much, much different. The Command, I found the Command a little more mid-lane and roll forward, where the Hellcat just kind of hooks and keeps on hooking. It reminds me a lot of the Paragon. A little bit more like the Paragon, but even more hook. Where the Paragon is a little bit early, this seems to get down the lane a little bit more. Hope that helps. Why do polished bowling balls act better than 4K fast? Oh God, I hate 4K fast. 4K fast. Yes, Nick, we're on MySpace. Okay. So I have a problem. With this whole 4K fast system. Nick somewhere is giggling because he finds this hilarious, how it gets under my skin. And it's not necessarily better. You are correct, Garrett. It's not necessarily better. I gotta load it up here. I have it on my... Okay. So, regardless of what company it is, when you look at the quote-unquote out-of-box surface, it's not going to be exactly what it says. Like a 500 1000 surface is not a 1000 surface. It's also not a 500 surface. A 1500 polished Storm surface was, like 16 different steps to get done properly. However, after the debacle this year with the USB-C, it feels like the USB-C has basically said that Storm's polish softened their balls or was creating a softer surface. So they had to move away to something that was recreatable to give the same reaction without using that product. Because you can see they've just basically abandoned polish completely. Here is my problem. When you look at a Brunswick ball that's 500 1000, I think it comes in at about anywhere from, I think it's 700 to 800 grit. So, but when you go ball to ball, you expect it to be, you know, I can relatively, if I hit it at 500 enough, I hit it at 1,000 afterwards, it's going to be close. To get a 4,000 fast polish, you must go 15 seconds at 360, 15 seconds at 500, 15 seconds at 1,000, 15 seconds at 2,000, 15 seconds at 4,000, which is not to be mixed up with their 4,000 grit polish. And this is where, see, this bothers me. There's no differentiation. Like, yeah, 4,000 fast, and if somebody looks at 4K fast and 4K, 99.9% of bowlers aren't going to know the difference. So it's confusing to the marketplace. People just should use proper readings so that we know exactly what the surface is. I really like CTD surface scanner. You can pop that on a ball and it'll tell you what it is. And when you go to recreate that surface, you can use the pads that are calibrated to those surfaces and recreate that exact surface. I think all companies should be like that. Like, this ball is 800 grit. This ball is 1,000 grit. This ball is 4,000 grit. This ball is 5,000 grit. They should put what it is on it. But no. So we've got a 4,000 grit and then a 4,000 fast grit. But we also have the 1,500 grit polish, which is the 500 grit for firmly for 30 seconds, followed by 1,000 grit lightly for 10 seconds, followed by two-step compound generously on all four sides. So there's no measurement for that, even though they've got times and weights, excuse me, on everything else. It really, really, really irritates me that they just can't be straightforward. Just make something that somebody can go there and say, look, my ball was 1,000 when I bought it. I want to make it 1,000 again. Let me go grab a 1,000 True Cut pad and make it back to normal. And Storm had the chance to do it. They were redoing things. They could have come back and said, you know what? Let's work with a company and let's make this easier to figure out. We'll come up with a system and we'll actually mark it as what it is, the RA is, and that way when you're creating it again, it will make sense. But no, we've got firmly sanding and lightly sanding and generous amounts of polish and and honest to God, how many pro shops take the time to have it on their phone or on their wall, stuff, so they can recreate this? It just makes it more and more difficult, and that creates situations where somebody buys a ball and they use it for a while and they go to get it resurfaced. Now, if the guy doesn't know the difference between 4K and 4,000 grit, because Storm has two things at the same grit, the ball's not going to react the same. The customer's going to be upset. He's either going to be unhappy with the shop for messing up his ball, or unhappy with the ball for wearing out. It just doesn't lead to a situation that's good. And Nick is laughing in the comments. Garrett, I would say better since the surface depends on the bowler. Polish not play well for me. Yep, I just leave everything lane shine because it shines up so fast. I hear ya. My Blackwood 2.0 got so much better for me when it lane shined. You know, that was a ball that lane shined very quickly. I actually, too, liked it better with a little bit of shine on it. It picked up a lot more down lane and created some interesting entry angles and a lot of continuation. So I'm with you. I'm with you there. Nick, how can that be the same from time to time? Low grid is awesome. Oh yeah, everything's at 360. Like here, I would like 1,000. Where's my your 1,000 grit polish is 360 firmly for 30 seconds. Firmly for 30 seconds. And then 1,000 grit lightly for 5 seconds. that is not 1,000 grit. That is 360 with the tops knocked off. That's skip sanding. That's not 1,000 grit. I would wager to guess that if you were to RA that, it would come in between 400 and 600. I gotta get one of those hand scanners. Now, the one thing I will say, at least it's mostly done by pads now, so that I know it was one of Mo's pet peeves. Polish can go on unevenly sometimes. Depending on the company that makes it, it can go on unevenly. It can wear unevenly. Where surface, the ball tends to lane shine relatively uniformly. Let's put it that way. Better than it does with polish wearing off. So you're going to get a truer surface for longer. Oh, God. This is why Storm doesn't send us anything. You know that, right? Because they do something like this, and I'm just like, "Urgh!" It's like the 2LS system. Okay, the 2LS system, really good. That's the Storm one, really good idea. And options 2, 3, 4, and maybe 5. Definitely 3. I think it's 3 and 4. 3, 4. 2, 3, and 4. Yeah. 6 you can't use. 6, if you look at it, if you plan it out, it has 120 something degree val angle. So it, I mean, if you put it into blueprint, it literally flares over every hole. I'm sure they don't like anybody talking about that. Like it's stupid, but it's in their system. I'm sure everyone wants a ball to flare over every hole. It irritates me. Why come up with a... I'm ranting. I apologize, everybody. Why come up with a system that's supposed to educate two-handers and make it easier for them, that literally has multiple layouts on it that if you use and don't use the exact ball that they used in their testing, just ruins a ball. Just literally writes off the ball. You drill it, too bad. You just wasted your money. That irritates me. Like, that's in a time when not everybody has money. Who has the money to throw away on a ball? Just drilling it and just drill it and throw it in the garbage. Why bother bowling with it? I'm a Brunswick family advocate and have been since the early 90s. Never cared for Storm. I don't want to say Storm makes bad stuff. I don't want that ever to be... I don't want people to think that I'm anti-Storm. Because let's face it, Storm makes awesome product. They would not be around the way they are without making an awesome product. It's just some of the things that they do around their awesome product really irritate me. I threw an 800 with the Fusion, the IQ Fusion Tour. Great ball. Had a cracking issue. Some balls have that. But it was a spectacular ball. Not going to say that about Storm either. Just have never been a fan. Yeah, as I say all the time on this show, throw brands that complement your style. Don't just throw a brand because you're being blindly loyal. You know, I've been very lucky. I've been with Brunswick. I've been reviewing equipment for 26 years. And I've been reviewing Brunswick equipment through all of that. And it has matched up to my style. And being able to... It was always funny because there used to be these little charts that people put out about where different companies' equipment sat. And Brunswick was always a little bit early rolly. And Storm was more downlane and angular. And Ebonite was kind of not quite Brunswick, but not quite Storm. And then Motive was really rolly, like rollier than Brunswick, but still had some motion here and there. There used to be a whole big chart of it. As Brunswick has brought on more brands, they've tried to diversify to try to be kind of all over that chart. Storm's done the same thing. And it has left us with, I think, probably the richest pool of equipment of all time. You can pretty much drill a ball for anything or buy a ball for any condition now. You think 40 years, and I hate to say this, 40 years ago in the early 80s, people toured with 4 balls, 2 balls, 3 balls. In the 70s, in the 60s, 2 balls, 1 ball. I think it's wonderful that there's so much choice. And I think it's wonderful that every company makes something that does a little bit of everything so that people can get stuff that match up. And those that don't match up with one thing don't necessarily get blocked out of all of their brands. So I think it's great. I think every company has something going like that right now, pretty much. Yeah, I like Brunswick stuff because it matches what I do. I love Storm 2, had a blue mix, a blue and white mix for years. Now I have moved to Brunswick. I actually had an altered reality on my radar until it was banned. Yeah, look at the new, if you like the reality, try the new one that came out. It's pretty much the same minus the Storm polish, like, honestly. They've pretty much re-released all of those balls with the same stuff, just without the polish on them, so they would meet standard. So if you liked the old one, the new one will be similar. I, however, think that you might, before you try anything, you should try the Paragon Hybrid that we just, I was showing on the bench. I think you were going to like that one. I know let me check out here. Yep, I liked it. It was super angular. Wayne in 5 shots didn't miss a pocket and left a 7-pin out of 5 shots across the lane. Nick struck 3 out of 5 shots and only left a 4-pin. Like it was good. I think that ball's going to sell a lot of stuff. But if you have the altered reality on your radar, go get the new one. We always tell people when somebody comes in and says, you know, hey, I really like this ball. What do you got that's like it? Well, what about that ball? If you like that ball, get another one. Let's see what we got here. 1 ball for all through the 80s. The U300 the Vector 2. Yeah. We haven't really. I have heard the reality check is scary. Watched G-Tang's video. It's pretty strong. LT48. Heck yeah. I'm hoping Sea-Lance is talking about the original LT48 or the second LT48 or the third one or the reactive one. Any one of those is good. Wolverine Dark Moss was definitely a middle finger to the USB-C. Heck yeah, it was. Absolutely it was. Why when they test bowling balls are drilled differently to me? Okay, why when they test bowling balls, the bowling balls are drilled differently to me? You are not catching a bowling ball if the bowling balls are drilled differently. So why do we drill them differently? I think that's what Edwin is asking. Why we drill them differently. Why we have different layouts on different balls. And I'll show you here. We have this Arsenal chart that I've talked about fairly regularly through the show. This is kind of our benchmark where we start, where we don't know what the pattern is going to be, but this would cover us for basically we could walk into any bowling center and be able to bowl. We try to put layouts on balls that are going to magnify what they are designed to do. There's lots of people out there who drill pearl stuff to be not angular or try to make solid stuff really angular, which you can do, and there are small places, small circumstances where that works, but for the most part, you want to amplify what the ball's natural characteristics are. So, say for instance, our fresh ball. Hold on, I'll answer yours in a second, Vincent. We have different surfaces. We have different ways to change where they are going to flare on the lane, how much they're going to flare, and what motion they're going to create. Now, as for the USB-C, how they didn't catch the problems with the storm balls, we did a show on that. We did a couple shows on that a while back. That's a great question. I think Storm would probably like to ask about that too. When it comes down to it, USB-C found that the polish that was being used on those balls was causing them to come in under the standard hardness, and so they all had to be banned. So then Storm re-released them all with new surfaces with the exact same cover stocks. So I'm going to take a guess and just say that USB-C had a problem with their polish and just axed it. Why does USB-C test if a ball is drilled differently for everyone? So the USB-C, when they test balls, they actually don't drill them. They test the undrilled ball for the most part. There's actually some awesome videos you can watch. They use a giant cradle, and they put the undrilled ball on it, and they test to see how quickly it spins to find out its radius of gyration. So they don't actually drill it differently to test to see if the ball is different from person to person. Just as a side note on that Arsenal construction thing as well, you can see those names at the top, speed dominant, matched, and rev dominant. We just break our bowlers up into different classifications based on the type of bowler they are, so that it's a lot easier for people to identify with somebody that they have a closer bowling style to. I hope that answered your question. John, are the urethanes from the 80s still work? Yeah. If you look, okay, this is actually kind of interesting. If you look, Brunswick bought companies over the last decade to try to get back that original urethane formulation that they had in the 80s. So, yeah, those original older urethane balls, as long as they're round, they will have the same cover characteristics as a lot of the urethane we see now. Core-wise, they're going to be different, though. The older the urethane gets, the less of a core you're going to get, which means the less dynamic the ball will be. Yes, you can still put lots of surface on it, get it to roll early, but it's not going to flare as much or at all. So it's definitely going to change the way that it sees it, as compared to some of the newer cores that are much larger, create much larger flare patterns, which get them fresher urethane, which means they can be much smoother, much earlier. Yeah, those old pancake weight blocks. I actually have a customer, Eric, who I drilled up a U2 for, I guess, last year. It had a core in it, a very interesting core in it, and I drilled it up specifically because of the older urethane, and it had a core in it. But it wasn't a pearl urethane like we were seeing in the newer ones. We wanted something that was going to be a little smoother. And it... Okay, I think we're still streaming. It said it disconnected for a second. I'm hoping everybody's okay. I hope everybody's still there. They'll tell me if they're not. I just think you saying a ball is illegal or cheating is wrong. If someone says, like Jason B drills it two-handed, it might be cheating. It had nothing, the bannings had nothing to do with drilling. Nothing to do with drilling. It was purely the hardness of the cover stock. Yeah, it had nothing to do with layouts, nothing to do with drilling, nothing to do with static weights. It was purely surface, the hardness of the surface. So there's no illegal drilling it or not drilling it or what have you. It was purely done on the hardness of the surface. So any other questions out there? Those kind of jumped out all of a sudden. It's okay if you have more. Please feel free to throw them down after the stream here, because those do count as your comments for winning yourself a jersey. Now, as we said, as long as it's not someplace where it's going to cost us like $100 to send it to we're pretty much going to pay for it. So this is just a free gift for being awesome and sharing and liking and so on and so forth. So remember, when this stream is over, all you got to do is like the stream, drop a comment, share, tag us, tag Laneside. Good conversation topic. It was a good conversation topic. It really was. But I think we've run out of them, unfortunately. For at least for tonight. Want to let you all recover and get back to it so that we can ask some more. Well, we love to hear spew out from your mouth. Thank you, Professor. Yeah, there's something that spews out of my mouth. I'm sure there's people who would say there's lots of things that spew out of my mouth. I hope that people learn from it. I try to share what I can, what I've picked up from literally thousands and thousands of hours of research. So I hope that... Good. I'm glad we're still there. I hope that you've all had a chance to learn, and even if it's one small thing from any one of these shows, I feel like we've done a service and helped grow the bowling community. But from here, we're going home. So, unless there's something else that jumps out, we're wishing you good luck. Keep your ball on the lane, knock down some pins, and don't forget to share so you're going to win some prizes. Until next time, we're going to see you laneside. Peace.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a show. So until next time, guys, we'll see you laneside.